The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race officially concluded from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we see some fantastic racing, multiple rain delays, and Corey Heim coming back from a speeding penalty to pick up a second win of 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race in Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Echo Safe 200. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So before the green flag drop in today's race, Lane Riggs and Nathan Burr would have to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments. So at the start of the race, he had Corey Day lead the field from the outside with Tyler Ankrum on the inside, and Justin Haley gave a really good push to Corey Day, and that gave Corey Day the lead for the second. And then they raced side by side between Corey Day and Justin Haley, with eventually Justin Haley being able to lead. All of a sudden, on lap number 2, Tyler Ankrum would make a really big dive bomb move to the inside in turn number 1, and he was able to take the race lead. And then we saw some really good racing up front between Corey Day, Justin Haley, Tyler Ankrum, and Tyler Ankrum would have the race lead. But eventually on lap number 9, Corey Day got a really good run on Tyler Ankrum and was able to pass for the lead. But then he got really sideways, and then Ty Majeski got a really great run a couple laps later and was able to take the race lead from everybody as Corey Day made a bold move, and then Tyler Ankrum got the lead, and then eventually Ty Majeski got the run, and he got the race lead. Meanwhile, William Swalcha got into the outside wall and would come down pit road due to having some damage. Ty Majeski, like I said, made the move to the outside, and he was able to take the race lead. And then we started seeing some good racing up front. And then the first caution race to come out with 5 laps to go in stage number 1 for rain. There had been light rain the previous night and unfortunately canceled the high limit event. Caution would come out because of rain, and that would end stage number 1 with Ty Majeski coming off the corner and winning stage number 1. Then it'd be Ankrum, then Corey Day, Heim, Freeze, and Garcia being your top 6. And then all leaders would come down pit road with Ben Rhodes winning the race off pit road. And Corey Heim would get a penalty. He exited third off pit road, but would get a penalty of being too fast on pit road and would have to go to the tail end of the longest line because of that. And then, because of all the rain coming down on the track, NASCAR would go ahead and throw a weather delay for pretty much the next 2 hours, as NASCAR basically decided to go ahead and pause it for the next 2 hours. But then we got back going once again after the first rain delay, with Ben Rhodes leading the field from the inside with Tyler Ankrum on the outside, and Ben Rhodes got a really good restart, maintaining the lead in the turn number 1, but Ankrum got a really good run to the outside of turn number 3 and was able to take the race lead from Ben Rhodes. And then Tyler Ankrum was able to continue holding the race lead, but then Corey Heim, he was starting to charge his way up to the front and moved up to around 11th position. Meanwhile, there was some really good racing continuing up front as Stuart Friesen got around Ben Rhodes, and it continued being really good as Ty Majeski was starting to struggle a bit and was starting to make his way back up. And then as the run continued on, Tyler Ankrum had a pretty solid lead over Chandler Swift, and Chandler tried everything to get around Tyler Ankrum, but it would not be enough, and coming off the final corner, Tyler Ankrum would end up winning his first stage since 2024 North Wilkesboro and picks up the win in stage number 2. And then all leaders would then come down pit road with Corey Heim winning the race off of pit road, followed by Stuart Friesen, Justin Haley, Chandler Smith, and Grant Enfinger. And unfortunately, Luke Fenhaus would get a penalty for too many men over the wall. He would have to go to the tail end of the longest line. And then once again, for the second time in a row, another caution would come out for rain. And unfortunately, they would have to bring the trucks down pit road once again due to rain, a red flag being displayed on the racetrack, which is really frustrating because the racing was going really good in this race. The red flag would come out. And then we got back going once again after another 30-35 minute rain delay. You had Corey Heim lead the field from the outside with Stuart Friesen on the inside, and Chandler Swift got a really great push from Stuart Friesen, and actually Stuart Friesen got a great restart on the inside of Corey Heim, and he was able to take the race lead. There was some contact between Daniel Hemrick and Connor Mosek, and Connor Mosek had a tire rub going on the truck, but was able to continue going. And then Corey Heim got a really strong run on Stuart Friesen, and he was able to get the lead. And then Stuart Friesen got a great run in turn number 3, and he was able to take the race lead. And then Corey Heim lost a handling a little bit, and Chandler Swift got a run and moved up to second position. And then, with around 45 laps to go in the race, or 50 laps to go, a caution would come out when Caden Honeycutt got loose coming off of turn number 4, and Tyler Ankrum would get in the outside wall, and Connor Mosek got a little bit of damage in the crash as well. I don't understand why this was a caution. Caden Honeycutt never ended up spinning out. Yes, Tyler Ankrum got in the wall, and that's a little dangerous, but I feel like that was not worthy of a caution. I did not understand that call personally. I don't think that should have been a caution overall, and I think that was a bad call on NASCAR's end, and that would hurt Stuart Friesen's chances to go to victory lane. And then all leaders have then come down pit road, with Corey Heim winning the race off of pit road, followed by Stuart Friesen and Chandler Smith. And then Bailey Curry would get a penalty for uncontrolled tire and would have to go to the rear of the field. And then a lot of drivers would end up having to go to the rear of the field because of it. I believe Gio Ruggiero at the time, he had to go to the rear of the field at one point, and more other drivers would have to go to the rear of the field because of it. That got massive penalties throughout the race. And as the race continued on, like I said, a lot of drivers would get penalties. So on the restart, you had Corey Heim lead the field from the inside with Chandler Smith on the outside, and Corey Heim got a fantastic run and was able to clear for the race lead. And then, next lap, Lane Riggs made a dive bomb move in the inside of turn number 2 and was able to pass both Corey Heim and Chandler Smith to take the race lead. And then the final caution race to come out with around 42 laps to go, when Jack Wood would end up spinning out and crashing hard in the outside wall of turn number 4 back into the outside wall. That would bring out the final caution of the race. And then on the final restart, Lane Riggs lead the field from the inside with Corey Heim on the outside. And we saw a really good battle for the lead between Corey Heim and Lane Riggs, with eventually Corey Heim getting the run to be able to take the race lead. And then there was some contact between Jake Garcia and Corey Day, where both would get a ton of damage. Jake Garcia would come down pit road because of the damage, and Corey Day later on would come down pit road because of it. And then a couple laps later, Corey Heim got a really good run on Lane Riggs and was able to take the race lead. And then we started seeing some good racing in the middle of the pack as Tanner Gray all of a sudden showed up out of nowhere and was up to second position. Lane Riggs would try to make the move to the inside going down the back straightaway, but Lane Riggs would end up getting sideways but saved with one of the best saves we've seen in quite some time and was able to only fall back to sixth position. And then, eventually, we saw some really good racing between Grant Enfinger and Tanner Gray, but they were losing ground on the leader being Corey Heim. And then eventually Tanner Gray was starting to close back in on Corey Heim at the end, but started losing a little bit of ground. And then with around 10 laps to go in the race, Grant Enfinger made a really, really big move to the inside of Tanner Gray and move up to second position. And at this point, it's going to be a one-on-one battle between Grant Enfinger and Corey Heim, the two fastest trucks near the end of this race, going for the win. With a few laps to go, Grant Enfinger cut the gap down to half a second. And then a couple laps later, with 3 laps to go, the gap was extended to 0.6 of a second. And it looked like there was going to be a chance and possibility of there to be potential for Grant Enfinger to close in. But unfortunately, would run out of time as it comes to the white flag of the race. Grant Enfinger cut the gap from 76 100s down to 47 100s. He would try everything he could. Going down the back straightaway, he'd get a really good run on Corey Heim. But unfortunately, would run out of time. And coming out the final corner, Corey Heim holds off a hard charge of Grant Enfinger, is able to pick up his second win of 2025 and his 13th career NASCAR Truck Series victory. Going into this season, we knew that Corey Heim was going to be the guy to beat, and we knew that he was really good at these mile-and-a-half tracks, and comes back from a speeding penalty to get it done. So we had to play some adversity to get back up to the front and recover, because that number 11 truck, in my opinion, was the fastest truck on the track. He had the best truck in the field. I think he ended up leading the most laps as well, with around 53 to 54 laps. Had a really strong truck all night long. He earned the win, in my opinion. I know some are going to question the win at Daytona with Park Clearman, among other things, but I think he had the fastest truck in the field. Congratulations to Corey Heim on a really dominant win. Again, I think he's got a really good chance of having double-digit wins this season. Already 2 wins to start the year. Congratulations to Corey Heim on starting the season off on a very fantastic note. We're going next week to a really strong track where he's been good at, that being Homestead, which I think he's got a good chance to win there as well. Congratulations him on picking up the win at Las Vegas tonight. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results and give my score and thoughts on tonight's race. So Corey Heim picks up the win. Grant Enfinger finishes second. Struggled early in the race, but they made that truck way better and got inside the top 10 by the end of the race and was in position to pick up the win. Came close to getting it done, but a really good start to the season for the number 9 team. He finished second. Great run for Grant Enfinger. Tanner Gray finished third. I don't know where Tanner Gray came from, to be honest. He was really someone that was not a factor early in the race, was running around 15th to 20th. They made a really good adjustment on that truck, it seemed like, and it really hooked the truck up really good near the end of this race. Comes home one of the strongest runs he's had in a really strong time. Great run for Tanner to get himself a top 5 finish. Ty Majeski finished 4th. After the contact with Corey Day in the early portion of this race, I think it did affect the truck, unfortunately, because he never was the same after that, but it still was a really good run for Ty Majeski. He's looking to go back-to-back this year. Great run for Ty Majeski inside of the top 5. Lane Riggs finishes 5th. Recovers a little bit after getting sideways. Lane Riggs started off on a pretty solid note. He had a couple not so great races, but tonight he had one of his better runs he's had in a mile and a half. He had a fantastic truck. Great run for him. He finishes in 5th. Solid run for Lane. He was in position to pick up the win. Stuart Friesen finished the 6th. Probably the worst he ran all night, to be honest. That 52 truck was hooked up all night long. Ran top 5 to top 3 most of the night. Lost a little bit near the end of the race, but comes home with one of his better runs in a long time. Great run for Stuart Friesen. He finishes 6th. Raj Crew finished 7th. He was my pick coming this race. I thought he was going to have that same speed. And while he did have some really good speed tonight, he didn't have race-winning speed, but that truck was really starting to come in near the end of the race. Just ran out of time to get up there. But it's still a really solid night for Raja. Good to see him at least finish a race after having 29th and 30th place finishes in the first 2 races of the year. He finishes 7th. Solid run for Raja Karuf. Chandler Smith finishes 8th. Continues his top 10 streak to start the year. He was in position to win. Lost some ground on the final restart of the race. It cost him a shot at the win. But still a good night for Chandler. He finishes in 8th. Matt Crafton finished 9th. Recovers from a penalty that was well-deserved. His crew had been messing with the truck, which you're not supposed to mess these trucks under the red flag. That's a NASCAR rule. There was clear video evidence, but still, Matt Crafton, even with that, had a really good run tonight. The Thor Sport trucks are showing some really good speed to start the year. He finishes 9th. Good run for Matt Crafton. Tyler Anker finishes 10th. Anker had one of the fastest trucks in the field. He won Stage 2 course and had led the most laps in the early portion of the event. They had a bad pit stop, and they got caught up in that crash near the middle portion where he got on the outside wall. But his truck was so fast that he recovered to get a top 10. A night that they probably should have capitalized overall and didn't capitalize. Just a disappointing end to what was a good run for the team. He still does get a top 10, but what could have been for Tyler Ankrum. Justin Italy finished 11th. Thought he'd be a little bit more of a factor. While he did lead early in the race, the truck was never the same after he lost track position, but he does come home with a top 15 finish. Caden Honeycutt finished 12th. He got a penalty near the middle portion of the race and still recovered to get a top 15 finish. Solid day for Caden Honeycutt. Dale Hemrick finished 13th, but disappointing start for the number 19 team. I really thought Hemrick would be a factor tonight to go to victory lane. I don't know where the 19 speed has been because they've been a little bit off to start the year. A little disappointing run for Hemrick. He finishes 13th. Ben Rose finished 14th after having a really strong truck in practice. They lost a lot of ground. He ran around 6th to 15th most of the night. Not the best run for Ben Rose. He finishes 14th. Gio Ruggiero finishes 15th. Solid night for him. Matt Mills finishes 16th. Andres Perez finished 17th. Bailey Curry finished 18th. Dawson Sutton finished 19th. Had a really good save early in the race and comes home in the top 20. And Connor Mosak finished 20th. Tony Breininger finished 21st. A disappointing night for Tony. She does at least get a top 25, so hang the banner, I guess. But not the best run for Tony. She's doing worse than Haley Deegan to start the year. She ran a little better, that being Deegan in the trucks. Not the best run for Tony. She finished 21st. William Walsh finished 22nd. Luke Fenhouse finished 23rd after getting loose and nearly spinning out near the end of the race. Frankie Muniz finished 24th. Spencer Boyd finished 25th. Jake Garcia, after having one of his better runs, I've seen him having that 13 a long time. He had that issue with Corey Day and ends up finishing 26th after running really well early in the event. Corey Day finishes 27th, a tough break for Corey Day. He was doing really good early, but that truck was never the same after losing track position. They kept losing a lot of ground. He then made a mistake going into turn number 3 after what looked like was going to be a promising day after winning the pole. He just lost a ton of ground and never really recovered. He finished 27th after losing a tire. Josh Ream finished 28th. Nathan Burr finished 29th. Jack Wood, after crashing out, finished 30th. And Steve Malazzi finished last in 31st place. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole and give my score and thoughts on tonight's race. Despite all the frustrations with all the rain delays that happened tonight, and that is unfortunately going to affect the score a little bit because I'm not the biggest fan of starting and stopping. You really can't control the weather, and it's kind of weird that Las Vegas always has this weird weather that comes into play. I mean, we're in the desert, and we've got rain. So if you want to have any sort of precipitation, call NASCAR, because it seems like if you're having a drought, call NASCAR to come in. In all seriousness and all honesty, I know the rain really did affect this race a little bit for me, but even when the rain was there, I still thought the racing tonight was really, really good. The Truck Series always usually puts on a really good show at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It was a very compelling race, a lot of side-by-side, a lot of beating and banging, and sure, at times it did get strung out, but I really loved the mile-and-a-half racing with the trucks. It was a really entertaining race tonight. I probably would have given this race probably about a 9.5 out of 10, but because of the rain delays, among other things, I'm just going to drop the score a little slightly down to about an 8.9 out of 10, actually a 9 out of 10. So I think the racing was really good. There was some officiating stuff that was questionable, but I thought it was a really good truck race tonight. I love the racing of Las Vegas. It was a fun race tonight. I'm going to give tonight's race overall a 9 out of 10. So that is going to be our tonight's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race review from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me to Facebook and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Tori Heim on picking up the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow afternoon on the channel, you're going to see reactions to NASCAR Cup qualifying from Las Vegas, and you'll see the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review as well later today by the time many of you are watching this. And then, of course, tomorrow on the channel, we are going to have the Cup race review, and we're also going to have a starting lineup video for the Pennzoil 400, and then you should be seeing Shane Van Gisbergen video, and then on Monday, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple of days. We got to talk about Montreal a little bit with some rumors circulating about that. We're going to talk about Catherine Lay's response to Daniel Suarez. We're going to talk about some more Carl Edwards stuff a little bit. Same with Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Roger Krug, Chandler Swift, Eric Almirola, Justin Allgaier, Connor Zillis, Junior Motorsports, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, all the good stuff, Dodge, Ford, all the good stuff, and Honda too, we'll be talking about on the channel over the course of the next couple days. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.